Welcome to another Nostalgia Review. Today, we're looking into a classic game that has seen a resurgence several times. That game is Chrono Trigger, originally out for the Super Nintendo, but played on the PC for this review. A game that helped define the JRPG genre, which for those new to the genre, is a traditional role-playing video game that has fantasy and medieval settings, story, development, character management, and side view battles all wrapped up with 2D graphics. If you don't believe me, go to Google. That's right now, and besides the word-for-word definition, you will also see the top game as none other than Chrono Trigger. Video games need to provide a good story with suitable environments, and of course you can't have that all without good gameplay. I want to explore all three of those, especially with this game as it has so much content. I mean, controlling your own narrative in a game from 1995? That was almost unheard of at the time. What were the results? Watch my review to find out how all the pieces flow together. Gameplay starts as a simple controlling of your little sprites as you wander around the map. Soon it does become more complex as the story develops. Control a party of up to 3 heroes at a time, which is unique at the time the game came out, that you can interchange different teammates not only to help you with your different attacks, but also provide special unique powers together. You will see your enemies most often in the environment, sliding back and forth waiting for you to brush past them to initiate battle. What I like about this game, and it is refreshing to me, is that there is no cutaway from the area you are in. Once you bump into that slippery foe, that battle starts right there where you are. Attacking in the game is pretty simple. There's an attack which Chrono implores more often than not to leap and slash enemies. In addition to that, you can use items and also run when the fight gets too tough. What makes Chrono Trigger more unique is the tech abilities. Think along the lines of special powers like you see in other RPG style games. Tech lets you use Chrono's attack in a more devastating manner, or to use magic spells to attack enemies resistant to melee attacks. For example, Marley has powerful magic attack based on the element of water. Use this with Chrono's devastating melee attack and you have a frozen sword spinning at the enemy. Also, you can use tech for healing your friends in battle or removing negative effects. You can experiment with each character combination to see what suits you best. Maybe you want to use heavy melee attacks, then use 2 melee characters. Plus, you can eventually use all 3 of your characters you have fighting in a special triple attack that does some major destruction to the enemy, particularly helpful when fighting those bosses. Though it uses your MP, which is the magic power you use throughout the game. After each battle, you gain XP and TP along with your gold and items you may pick up. TP is for making your tech power stronger, just in case you didn't know. Besides the battles, you maneuver the map like any top-down style game. There are moments when you are clicking on buttons to open a passage, but it's generally running around the environment, finding chests, and interacting with story characters. One of the best things, besides the crucial gameplay and the amazing story, is that Chrono Trigger is wrapped up in a beautiful environment. Without jumping too much into the story, we know that the game is essentially about time travel. This means that you get to experience locations that are millions of years old, hundreds of years old, or even the future. There are different locations you get to explore and find new people along the way. This may seem like a daunting task since the art style is all set in 16-bit retro styling. I personally think that this is what makes this game more of a timeless classic. Along with these retro visuals comes along one of the best soundtracks ever made. Yasunori Mitsuda had dabbled in Final Fantasy games before they came over to help make Chrono Trigger known for its music. With the ability to make you feel like you're in an intense battle with heated battle music, or just simply exploring a fair. The beautiful music did come at a price since Mitsuda was hospitalized with ulcers for pushing so hard on this game. In a way, it makes me only appreciate the music more, knowing that someone literally poured their heart and soul into it, which helps to make each time period unique and gives the game a grand scope with 16-bit visuals. The world map seems quite large as you slip through time to new areas that are still within the same map, which helps to centralize the narrative flow of the game. What starts out as simple exploration turns into a grandiose story that makes this game amazing. You start out as Chrono, the silent protagonist of the game. The year is 1000 AD. You may think the years don't matter, but they do for this game. It all centers around time, and you start to see that when at the fair your friend Marley gets sucked into a time portal. At the time this came out, the time traveling concept in video games was newer, and what set Chrono Trigger apart from other RPGs, interweaving so many different eras of time that affect each other. Once Marley steps into that portal, you're off on an adventure, like Bilbo said, rushing off to take on the world. In a time travel game, it starts off pretty linear, focusing on very specific points in time. It is once you open up more points in time that you open the real beauty of the game. At the time when other games were just starting to explore the idea of alternate worlds or parallel dimensions, Chrono Trigger made an entire planet from the start of mankind to the end of the world. Chrono Trigger definitely is an enduring game. It has been ported to so many different platforms and yet still retains its soul. Whether you play this on the Super Nintendo to the PC, this game is definitely worth a playthrough. There really isn't much I can say that many others have not said. This game was the pinnacle of 16-bit JRPG worlds. Someday we may have a game that overshadows it, though Chrono Trigger is always on the forefront of people's mind when it is mentioned among the top RPGs of all time. For that reason, and many others, I give the game a 9.5 out of 10. For me, this game is as close to perfect as it can be. With the addition of the New Game Plus mode and the multiple endings, the replayability of this game will last through the ages, much like the story itself. I hope you enjoyed my Chrono Trigger review. If you enjoyed my video, please leave a like and a comment below on what you liked about this video, or if you have any other games you'd like me to check out. If you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you do click subscribe. This is the Still Grizzly wishing you luck with all your future games.